Whew, the COD stuff does continue. Hope you guys are all doing well. As per usual, welcome back to more esports talk. What you sipping on there, boys, huh? Leave a comment down below. You got some OJ? Yeah, you got some water? You got some coffee? Whatever it is. Hope you guys are all staying hydrated, having a great weekend so far. As per usual, I'm a bit late on these stories. Trying my best to keep up. We're pumping out Call of Duty content every single day. If you guys want it right away as well, Tactical Rab doing a great job breaking down these kind of situations, as well as Nameless, huh? He's joining the fight of Call of Duty news. Frick that, but it's awesome. If you guys want to catch his video on this exact situation, I actually encourage you guys to do so because he has even further insights about these scenarios, which really does make you think differently about them as well. That being the Kenny versus Dashy drama, OpTic Gaming versus Huntsmen. It was actually Kenny taking to a stream now a few days back. I encourage you guys to go check it out because he explains things from his perspective and being under the OpTic Gaming banner and how difficult that can be with the stigma around that new OpTic not being the same as old OpTic. It was a great stream to listen to, especially the first 30 minutes where he talked about the Dashy circumstance. I'm going to play for you guys multiple clips, the first of which is the fact that Kenny comes up and says only TJ wanted to play with Dashy, and vice versa. We found out very early on, even Dashy didn't necessarily want to be with OpTic. He wanted to be in Chicago with the Huntsmen, which should be coming true sometime very soon, but it was very interesting to find out that, you know, even Kenny was like, by the way, Kenny and Dashy have both come out. They respect each other as players. They're just both voicing their sides and explaining themselves on this current situation. Here is Kenny talking about that only really TJ wanted to play with Dashy, and Dashy didn't necessarily want to play for OpTic.
We'll speak on Bruce now. All right. I respect Bruce as a player. I mean, as a person. As a player, I'm iffy about him because this is the thing. Let's set the setting. Going into MW. And I'm going to be so 100 right now. So 100. I couldn't be any more sober. I couldn't be any more honest right now. Going into MW, me and Austin did not want to play with Brandon. We did not want to play with Brandon. We thought Brandon was going to be a 4, but not the player we wanted to play with. Now, keep in mind, Cheese wanted to play with Brandon really good. Really, like a lot. And he thought Brandon was nasty and he was going to fit our roster perfectly. Just because we were looking at Cap. So, Austin came to me and was like, yo, kid. Like, Teej wanted to play with him, and that's just that. And I was like, all right, I really want to play with Teej. Let's go. Let's try it.
And then a bit shortly after this, we find out as well that TJ and Dashy were again being late for practice. I will say we had tons of pros or teams accused of this during the entire season, whether missing scrims, completely chalking them, or being very late or at least lightly late to scrims. There were a lot of players and teams out there accused of this the entire season. It's not good when your own team member comes out and says, oh yeah, TJ and Dashy were late again, especially because if you guys remember back to the old OpTic, it was the same thing they were accused of there. Obviously unprofessional. I'm sure they know that. Unfortunately, when it comes for Call of Duty Pro players, it seems a lot of them are guilty of just this.
We don't play well. Cool. We go home. We try to go hard. We get in, like I said, everybody's LA. We going hard. We're showing a facility. Keep in mind, TJ and Brandon show up late almost like every other day. Probably like a few minutes late, but sometimes it was OD. No cap. Not even capping. Like I said, I still want to play with TJ, but no cap. People show up late. Cool. It got to a point where, like, I personally don't care for it. I'm not like big, like, oh my god, like, you showing up late, like, what you doing, like. But Austin and John, Eric, not playing that. They're like, bro, you gotta show up on time, which I always showed up on time. I'm like, I'm always on time. Like, I'm gonna do my shit. And personally, like I said, I personally did not like MW, but I always showed up on time for scrims, and I always went hard in practice. That's one thing you can say about me. I'm obviously speaking for myself, but my teammates can vouch for me.
And then I think a very important point to make was another clip that Kenny actually talked about, that being the potential that, you know, Dashy didn't want to play for OpTic, and then his moves and talk around OpTic kind of played to the stigma against the new OpTic organization, right? Kind of feeding into the hate that the community has for the OpTic Gaming logo, which I'll admit it right now, guys. I'm a part of that, right? The old OpTic is certainly not what the new OpTic is. I don't hate the new OpTic players, but Dashy certainly played a lot of those cards, I would say, very smartly on social media. Eventually, when he was let go of the roster, kind of celebrating that moment. And during the season, we had all of those kind of oddly alluding tweets of him being backstabbed on the roster, Kenny talks about you don't do that, right? You don't do that to a team who contracted you. That being Dashy, you know, making it pretty apparent he wanted to be on the Huntsmen. After OpTic Gaming is paying you, they gave you a contract, you signed that contract. I do agree with Kenny. Some of the actions Dashy did take were unprofessional.
Like I said, I have no hate towards Brandon. That's my homie as out of game. But like in game, there's just times where you don't mess with teammates. Kunkel, thank you for the 4 months. And this is fact. This is completely facts. I do no capping. And that's why I'm so pissed, because this is one thing I hate. I hate when people just cap. And especially like, it's not even towards me capping. It's just like, I've been seeing like disrespecting the org. Like I seen a clip of him be like, I'm on the team, let's go. Like unfollow the team. Like obviously jokingly, but like you don't disrespect a team. I don't give a who it is. Yes, people don't like OpTic Gaming, but you don't disrespect a team that gave you a blessing. Like everybody has a blessing to play this game and be on a team, and you don't disrespect them like that. Like we first of all didn't want to play with you to begin with, and you don't disrespect them. Like nice try. That's disrespectful. I don't care what. Like till this day, I appreciate TK for everything they did for me. Obviously, like, but like a lot of people hate them for like don't even know what we're on, don't even know the real anything. Nobody really knows the real thing. But like a lot of them just hate because other people say it. They just join the bandwagon. Anyways, beyond the fact. But I'm saying this Brandon getting hold and him not. How are people making the excuse that he didn't like the game? Why? This is the funny thing. Me and Austin can complain the whole year about factual shits. Servers hold us, and nobody agreed to the last event. Servers hold us, nobody listens to us, shit like that. We get roasted for it. But Brandon don't like the game, so it's okay for him not to play the game or try and practice. And this is an excuse for people. I'm actually mind blown that that's a thing, and it actually like is so tilting when people say that, because if I didn't like the game, nobody cares. Can you suck? Which is fine, that's fine. But I feel like every player should be treated the same. And obviously I can't tell the fans what to do or how to treat players, but I feel like that's just bullshit cap. And I hate when people like even cap to their fans. Like, who the did Brandon bench himself? Who made up this lie? I'm mind blown. People actually think that. And like I said, I'm not trying to disrespect Brandon or anything, but capping on our team saying we hold him and that he's glad he's off the team, like, ooh.
And again, to wrap it up, guys, there was so much to take from all of these clips out there. Kenny talks about so much around Dashy. These guys do respect each other. They don't belong on the same lineup. I think a lot of us, after hearing all these thoughts, they're not going to be on the same lineup, not going to have those issues. I can't wait for them to face off against each other next season, and Dashy should be getting ultimately what he did want. But there was a lot of talk that kind of does concern you if you are a Huntsman and a Dashy fan. Him not caring about this last title, and apparently him being benched by the team for maybe potentially not caring. I can't really jump into that because there's probably so many talking points as to exactly why he was benched. That OpTic Gaming roster, according to Kenny, they tried to make him the star player, even give him AR, and unfortunately led to a lot of problems, a lot of miscommunication, or no comms at all, and it just did not work out with Dashy on the OpTic roster, so that might worry some people, and of course, that being tied to also being late to scrims with him going to the Huntsman roster. If those same issues will continue, yeah, you probably have the right to be concerned about that. It is obvious that the match made in heaven was not OpTic with Dashy, right? And Kenny has now voiced that opinion. I think the best thing he talked about was that common stigma and hate towards OpTic Gaming and how that kind of fuels the fire behind all of these changes as well. And that's probably not going to go anywhere, unfortunately so. But what do you guys think about this? Call of Duty offseason continues to be amazing because the storylines continue to be built and the rivalries continue to be built as well. OpTic versus Huntsmen continues to be a fire versus fire kind of battle. And I think Kenny did a great job explaining his side of things and how OpTic felt during this season and how things just surely did not work out. I'll leave it on this note. I'm actually very excited to see. Kenny's also kind of mentioned possibly moving to Texas. You know, those OpTic Gaming boys, when champs came around, they really did very well for those connection issues they had the entire season. Imagine once they're on, you know, some fair servers. Could be a deadly lineup, but so could the Huntsmen with Dashy if that is a final confirmed move. Until next time, what do you guys think about this? Kenny versus Dashy, OpTic versus Huntsmen. The rivalries do continue, and Call of Duty news, it just never stops. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you back here sometime soon.